This is one of the greatest songs about California that ever existed. Almost everyone has heard it at least once, and many still listen to it today. But do you know what this song is really about? The basis for Hotel California was created by Don Felder, Don Henley, and Glenn Frey. Felder came up with the initial guitar riff during a lazy afternoon at his Malibu beach house, describing it as a mix of Mexican and reggae music. He recorded a demo, which quickly caught the attention of Henley and Frey. Together, they refined the song, adding Henley's heartfelt lyrics and Frey's storytelling mastery.
Don Henley and Glenn Frey, especially Don, wrote some just brilliant lyrics. Don, as a lyricist, writes these little postcard pictures, and he throws you a picture on a dark desert highway. You can see that. Cool wind in my hair, you can feel it. The warm smell of colitas, you can smell it. He's got a brilliant way of writing these little picture postcards lyrically that takes you up to a place where when he sees the chorus, then you're like, it all makes sense, So I think it was a special combination of Don singing, a really beautiful vocal performance, his lyrics, the music that we started off with, the chord progression that I wrote for the song, and the incredible guitar stuff that Joe and I did at the very end of it.
The song was recorded in 1976 and became the title track of the Eagles' fifth studio album, released later that year. The album itself was a significant departure from their early country rock style, moving to a more polished, conceptual sound that reflected the changing mood of the 1970s. Upon its release, Hotel California made a splash. It even won a Grammy Award for Best Record of the Year in 1978. And fans started making crazy theories around the meaning of the song. Some speculated that the song had occult influences or hidden messages in the lyrics. The line, "We haven't had that spirit here since 1969, has been endlessly debated, and some believe it refers to the end of the 1960s counterculture movement. Others have linked the song to urban legends about the so-called real Hotel California. There's talk that it could have been an old church taken over by devil worshippers, or a mental hospital, or a hotel run by cannibals, or Aleister Crowley's mansion in Scotland. There is even a suggestion that the Hotel California is the Playboy Mansion. More realistically, fans take the theory that the song Hotel California is a criticism of the music industry of those years. Allegedly, young artists are constantly lured into a golden cage by promises of quick success and eternal fame, but in return demanding their soul. The band members also stirred things up because each of them interpreted the meaning of the song differently. Don Henley described Hotel California as a journey from innocence to experience. The lyrics paint a vivid picture of a traveler who finds himself in a luxurious but unsettling hotel where you can check out anytime, but you can never leave. According to Henley, the song is a metaphor for the hedonistic and often destructive lifestyle of 1970s California. It's a cautionary tale of excess, fame, and the dark side of the American dream. This interpretation can easily be linked to the fact that for Henley, music probably served not only as a means of self-expression, but also as a way to deal with personal impressions of a world of fame and luxury that is often not as appealing as it first appears.
You feed the machine that is the record business, and the machine, the monster wants more. The monster constantly needs feeding. And you get caught up in this whirling vortex of success and money and fame and pressure, and then of course drugs were involved. We were all doing what everybody was doing at the time.
His view of the song as a metaphor for life in 1970s California, with its hedonism and excesses, may be a reflection of his internal struggle to assert himself in that environment. Henley, like the other band members, was a middle-class son from the Midwest, and the abrupt transition to life in Los Angeles may have made him more susceptible to the darker sides of the American dream. In such a context, music may have been a way for him to realize who he was in the world while sharing his thoughts with his audience. Glenn Frey fully supported this interpretation of Henley. Moreover, Frey believes that such meaning as a cinematic plot was folded into the lyrics of the song from the beginning. Glenn compares Hotel California to an episode of The Twilight Zone, where the protagonist discovers that the idyllic surroundings hide something sinister. The lyrics were carefully crafted to reflect both beauty and menace, creating an intrigue that draws listeners into her world. To emphasize the message, Freya says the album cover was carefully designed. The hotel depicted on it is a hotel in Beverly Hills, known as the Pink Palace. It is frequented by Hollywood stars. The shot was taken by photographers David Alexander and John Kosh, who sat in a cherry tree about 60 feet above Sunset Boulevard to capture the hotel at sunset from behind the trees. The rush hour traffic made this shot horrible. Glenn Frey said the hotel's lavish facade, which was striking to look at, hid the terrible secrets of most stars' lives at the time. Despite Frey and Henley's interpretation, another member of the band, Joe Walsh, had a very different opinion of Hotel California. Years later, Walsh said that for him, the song was primarily a reminder of what California was like in those years. All musicians from all over America dreamed of coming to this city and playing their music or listening to their friend's great song, and California welcomed them. It became a real hotel that you never want to leave. Walsh believes that so many theories around the song are an indication that they were true, free artists. They could create something great and influence people just by doing what each of them liked. This melancholy interpretation leads to the ironic conclusion that the song Hotel California not only brought the Eagles worldwide fame, but was also the beginning of their end. The song and the album of the same name brought the band to a new level of success. But that same success increased tensions within the band. First, the intense media and fan attention created a pressure that was hard to handle. Don Henley and Glenn Frey became major figures in the band, which led to creative and personal conflicts with other members such as Don Felder. Henley and Frey effectively took control of the direction of the band, while Felder wanted more involvement in decision-making. For example, Felder felt that his contributions to Hotel California were undervalued compared to the lyrics written by Henley and Frey. Because of this, Henley and Frey, as primary songwriters, received larger royalties for copyrights than other band members. This caused envy and a sense of injustice for Felder, who felt that his guitar parts and musical contributions played just as much of a role in the band's success. Secondly, the creation of Hotel California required incredible attention to detail, which increased disagreements between the members during the recording process. This was likely the catalyst for the fatigue and irritation that only grew over time. So, as you may have noticed, the theme of the song, which criticized hedonism and excess, to some extent reflected the lifestyle of the band members themselves in those years. By the time the album was released, their lives were filled with the very glamour and excess that they were trying to distance themselves from in their lyrics. This may have created cognitive dissonance, adding tension to the collective. After that, the success of the album and constant touring led to emotional and physical exhaustion, further exacerbating internal conflicts. A few years after the release of Hotel California, the band broke up for many years. Thus, we can say that the song was a key milestone in the Eagles' career, but also a symbol of the internal and external challenges that ultimately undermined their unity. Regardless, Hotel California is more than just a song. It is a cultural phenomenon. Its mesmerizing melody, virtuosic guitar solos, and enigmatic lyrics have cemented its place as one of the greatest rock songs of all time. The song earned the Eagles a Grammy Award for Record of the Year in 1978 and remains a staple of classic rock radio to this day. Perhaps the real genius of Hotel California lies in its mystery. Like a great novel or movie, it offers something new with every listen, inviting fans to delve deeper into its layers. Whether you see it as a cautionary tale, a critique of the American dream, or something else entirely, one thing is clear: Hotel California is a symbol of its era, and its greatness lies in its endless capacity for interpretation. What do you think of the song Hotel California? Perhaps you have your own interpretation of the immortal hit? or you associate it with some pleasant memory from the past. Be sure to write about it in the comments. It will be very interesting for me to read. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss new videos.